What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering. A bit of breaking news concerning a new wave of Twitter censorship after Facebook was essentially caught holding the bag when they couldn't define their own terms of service. James O'Keefe's agency, Project Veritas, has now been suspended off of Twitter after posting this interaction, which of course makes big tech look terrible. Facebook's vice president getting caught unable to answer specific questions. It was a beautiful bit of actual journalism. Now, I know Project Veritas has in the past had some suspect methodologies, which is why I always say, do your own research. Just because it's on video doesn't mean it wasn't edited. Just because it wasn't, just you don't know if there's context that is missing, okay? But ultimately, it looks like, again, Project Veritas has brought things to the forefront. So please support all tech. I list all mine right in my videos. I mean, I have a BitChute. I have a Rumble. I had a Parler. I'm going to have to update that if they never come back. I have a Minds account. I have an Odyssey account. If you're watching this on any platform, including YouTube, please let today be the day I earn your subscription. Hit that red button. It's hard enough. It's right below the video. On whatever platform you're on, make sure you subscribe. It's hard enough to reach you guys. And now people are celebrating as the Project Veritas account locked after confrontation with Facebook's vice president. It doesn't appear to be locked for me. It appears to be entirely suspended. This is quite the Rubicon we're crossing if Twitter wants to ban this particular piece of information, Project Veritas founder James O'Keefe says. The Twitter accounts for Project Veritas and founder James O'Keefe were both locked Thursday after the news outlet posted a video confronting a Facebook vice president outside their home. Twitter, in a message to Private Veritas, that was later shared with the Wrap, said, shared must be in private, that its account was locked due to sharing private information. On February 10th, Project Veritas tweeted a video of reporter Christian Hartsock approaching Facebook Vice President Guy Rosen outside his home. Rosen, who appeared to be returning from a jog, didn't respond to Hartsock asking him about a recent video where Rosen said Facebook can, quote, freeze comments on posts that may contain speech they hate. You can see the video here. I don't know if I can even show it. This is on thewrap.com. How do you define hate speech? Hartsock asked Rosen as he walked inside. Is it just speech that you hate? Later, at about 2 a.m. Eastern, on Thursday, Twitter contacted Project Veritas by email and said its account was locked for violating the company's rules against posting private information. You may not publish or post other people's private information without their express authorization and permission. Well, this is the problem, right? In the video, the numbers on Rosen's home address are visible, but the street name is not. Both the Project Veritas as well as O'Keefe's account have not sent tweets since midday Wednesday. Now, is this enough information to actually locate them? It's a piece of the puzzle. I don't think that I would call it out and out doxing. It's on the line. They should have blurred it out. Rather than shut down the accounts, they should have just given them the option to blur the video out or something like that. In the video, the numbers on Rosen's house are visible. Both Project Veritas as well as O'Keefe's account have not sent tweets since Tuesday. Twitter did not respond to requests for comments on why the accounts were locked or how long they would stay locked for. Previously locked accounts have had to delete tweets Twitter flagged before the company will allow them to use the service again. O'Keefe, in a phone interview with the Wrap, said that he's wrestling with the decision to delete the tweets in order to get the accounts running again. Well, it looks like it's escalated at this point because, well, the account is suspended. And this just brings further light to the fact that alternatives, Twitter is in the public space. It is the new public space. And because of that, information, in my opinion, should be allowed to flow freely unless it breaks terms of service. This, I suppose you could bend over backwards and say that it violated terms of service but we all know there are a million other examples of far worse that Twitter doesn't suspend. We know that Twitter selectively enforces their rules, and this particular rule was selectively enforced to silence James O'Keefe from Project Veritas, in my opinion. He added, reporters with microphones and cameras engage in reporting activities on the streets all the time in residential communities, so I'm trying to understand what Twitter considers violating the rules against posting private information. Does Twitter consider reporting information that public has a right to know private information? This is quite the Rubicon we're crossing if Twitter wants to ban this particular piece of information. Project Veritas Communications Director Eric Spracklin later told the Wrap that Twitter had not explained to the outlet what it considered to be private information. So we don't even know if that's technically what it was. And here we have liberal journalists cheer as Twitter suspends Project Veritas account in wake of Facebook freezing comments video. Conservative watchdog group Project Veritas has been banned by Twitter hours after one of its tweets was blacklisted. Again, I started to say this before. Given that Twitter is one of our only options for public information or to spread information like this, it's especially problematic or concerning when you look at what they did to Parler and how quickly they were able to deplatform and remove them entirely. Twitter suspended Project Veritas on Thursday evening, hours after it locked the conservative organization's account and its accounts of its founder, James O'Keefe. Screenshots posted by O'Keefe suggest the initial lockout came in response to the tweet containing a video in which Project Veritas journalist Christian Hartsock confronted Facebook VP of Integrity, Guy Rosen, apparently outside his house. Hartsock was asking Rosen to comment on leaked footage in which Rosen appears to state that Facebook has a system that is able to freeze commenting when there may be a thread that has speech they don't like. Rosen's house number, though is not full address, is briefly visible in the 1-minute clip. Again, we don't know that this was why they did. They have not confirmed this as the reason. Liberal commentators, among them Bellingcat researcher Eric Toller, cheered the ban. Ha ha ha, Project Veritas is suspended. Hard to think of a group that deserves to be deplatformed more than Project Veritas, which sends spies into the media outlets and political campaigns and tries to entrap people into doing scandalous or unlawful things. Reporting. The fact that these people are celebrating it. Just think about that. Think about whose side they're really on. The fact that one of the few places that actually does investigative journalism, using hidden cameras and catching people at vulnerable moments to expose the truth, this is what reporting used to look like. This is what good reporting looks like. And people who are reporters are celebrating it. Imagine, being on the side of super huge mega corporations. Back when I would have called myself a liberal, we would never have sided with Facebook. However, conservative condemned the ban, accusing Twitter of censorship was only a matter of time before doing real journalism would become illegal here. Blair Brandt saying, in a continued attack on the First Amendment, investigative reporters, Project Veritas, are now suspended from Twitter. Mike Cernovich saying, unlimited power at the hands of limited people always leads to cruelty. Suspended. Project Veritas uses hidden camera footage and leaked video to reveal bias in media and tech. Opponents have accused the organization of deceptively editing the footage to make the targets of its sting look worse, and O'Keefe has been locked out of Twitter before. Now, do they look bad, or are the things they're saying bad? Remember the guy that we're gonna burn down Milwaukee and all this stuff? Like, this is stuff these people actually say. And it's frustrating to see that so little of it actually goes to any kind of investigations. And it furthers the frustration that there are no viable alternatives for anyone willing to speak out against the mainstream narrative. I suppose Minds.com is probably your best alternative right now. If you're willing to deal with a crazy owner, Gab is an alternative right now. But they all pale in comparison in reach to Twitter that tons of people that call themselves liberals continue to side with censorship and big corporations. It's something that is shockingly obvious for anyone on the outside looking in, yet they're living in a dream world where they're LARPing as Che Guevara standing right next to Mark Zuckerberg. It's ridiculous. Restore the account immediately, Twitter. Please share this video, get the story out there, and we'll talk to you again real soon.